Hi, I'm Walt Kosmowski with BevCam, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the program that you're going to be viewing. And to help me do that, I have these two gentlemen on my immediate left, Mr. Dick George, and on his left, Dick Kelly. And these two gentlemen are part of the 101st Airborne Division Association, and they're with a group called the Massachusetts Special Events, is that right?
Correct.
And for the last 8 or 10 years, they have been very instrumental in putting together and organizing outreach events for veterans of our armed forces. And these have been things like all-day fishing trips and whale watch excursions. And the event that's happening out here at Windrush Farm is a little bit different and a little bit unique. And I'd like to talk about that. But before we start, I'd like to commend you two guys and really tell our audience that we as a community are thrilled and thankful for the work that you've been doing, all of the time and energy and effort that you've been putting into these outreach efforts for veterans. So thank you for that. But let's get to Windrush Farm here. This is a program called Horsemanship for Heroes. And maybe Dick George, I know that you were instrumental in coming out here and talking with these folks. Tell us about your relationship here with Windrush Farm and how it came to be that this program for veterans got put together.
Well, I have a good friend that does a lot of work for Windrush, and he asked me one day to come out and just take a look at this. And I came out, and boom, I was sold. I mean, they had a veterans program in place. But what they needed was more veterans, and they needed other type of support, which we've been doing. And I just took one look at this place, and you know, there's 200 acres here. There's 25 horses. They have 500 volunteers around the clock here, and I was just sold. Mm-hmm. So then I reached out to my friend Dick Kelly, my partner, and. I said, Dick, you got to look at this. And he came out, and boom, he was sold. And then the rest is history. Yeah. We've got veterans out here. We've got funding. We've got it all. It's just we've got more stuff going on. But
so where is the basic concept here? If you can kind of summarize it for us in Horsemanship for Heroes, Dick Kelly.
Interesting question, Walter. I learned an awful lot about this because I'm not familiar with horses at all, and it brings veterans and horses together. And the interesting thing is that the horse, in its own natural way, is the one that actually picks the veteran that it wishes to work with. While they're going through the introduction stage and the different programs. And it's very, very interesting to see the reaction of the veterans with the horse. You can visually see their attitude change when they get near the horse. And I'm sure some of that you'll see in the program, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you very much for that, and I'd like to invite our viewers to stay tuned, and we'll be watching Horsemanship for Heroes here at Windrush Farm. Thank you for watching. We're here at Windrush Farm in North Andover, Massachusetts, and I'm here with Jenna Turcott. And Jenna, you are the program director here for the Horsemanship for Heroes program. Is that what it's called?
That's correct.
And I noticed that on your logo, the Windrush Farm logo, it says equitation therapy. Can you?
Therapeutic equitation, yes.
Therapeutic equitation.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
so tell our audience what is therapeutic equitation?
Absolutely. So therapeutic equitation is working with our horses, learning horsemanship, learning how to ride, learning to work with our horses from the ground as well as on their back, and really teaching people riding skills, horsemanship skills. It's a recreational activity as well as a therapeutic activity, and we do also have programs that do specifically focus on therapy, whether it's occupational therapy goals, physical therapy goals, and in the future we hope to be able to offer more kind of mental health and psychotherapy goals, but we're not quite there yet.
So the group that we have here today are veterans.
Yes.
And so tell us, how do you tailor your programs to deal with injured veterans who may have PTSD and other injuries?
Sure.
How do you tailor your programs for them?
Absolutely. So most of our programs for veterans in our Horsemanship for Heroes program are unmounted programs, meaning that the veterans are working with the horses on the ground. They're really eye to eye with our horses. And horses have a really unique ability to project their much lower heart rates, their lower respiration rates, and it really helps us to lower our own heart rates and respiration rates. So if you're working with someone who has anxiety or PTSD, and you put them there with that horse, it's really going to naturally help bring those anxiety levels down. And the horses don't have any judgment, so they don't know what our pasts are, they don't know where we're coming from, they just know where we are in that moment. And they really accept us for who we are and help us learn how to work with them and change our body language, change how we're moving in the world. And it's really amazing the impact that can take out into the world.
Now, how long has Windrush been doing these kinds of programs?
Windrush itself has been here since 1964.
Okay.
We started working with veterans in 2009, and we've worked with over 200 veterans since we started.
Wow. So that must really give you a sense of satisfaction to see. What do the veterans, what kind of comments do the veterans and the people that accompany them, what kind of comments do you get back after these kinds of programs?
Very much that sense of calming. A big piece of it is also learning to have fun again and playing with their horses. One of our main comments we always hear is, we feel like the horse brought out my inner child, which is kind of a fun thing. A lot of times, the things that these people have seen and that they've sacrificed for this country, to get back to that place where you can kind of relax a little bit and have fun and smile again and laugh again and just be relaxed again is really wonderful. We're doing one of our half-day programs where they come at 8:30 in the morning. We get them all set up with a light breakfast. We introduce them to the farm and talk about the horse's behavior, herd dynamics, really introduce them to safety working around horses, and sort of starting to check in with reading what our horses are telling us through their body language. All right, so first thing here, I promise you our horses are not blindfolded. Don't turn them out with blindfolds on. These are fly masks. So the fly masks are a really fine mesh, like almost like a window screen. It helps keep the flies out of their ears and out of their eyes. So that's what those are. When we are working with our horses in the arena and out on the obstacle course, they will not have the fly mask on, because I want you guys to really be able to see their faces and see their expressions. Horses give us a ton of information through what their eyes are doing, what their noses are doing, what their ears are doing, and that's going to be a really important place for you guys to kind of be observing while you're working with the horses. There's actually been a recent research study that horses can make almost as many facial expressions as people can. So they are incredibly expressive through their faces. The highlights of what you're going to want to look for, if their ears are forward, that tells you what they're paying. Their ears are like their antenna. It really tells you what they're paying attention to. So if their ears are forward, they're paying attention to something in front of them. If they've got one forward and one back, their attention's kind of split between different things that are going on. If those ears are flat back, laid back against the head, their noses are probably going to be kind of pinched, their eyes are probably going to be a little pinched, that is a sign of that horse saying something's really upsetting me right now, and you're probably going to want to take a step back and check in with your horse handler and say, okay, what's going on? So if you ever see the really pinched nose or the ears flat back, that is your cue to kind of back off and reassess kind of what's going on and what your horse needs in that moment. If the horse's ears are flapped out to the sides, that is a sign of a very relaxed horse. Oftentimes when you see the ears flapped out to the side, you'll also see their lower lip drooping and kind of hanging down. And often you'll also see one relaxed back leg as they're kind of just settling in and getting ready to take a little nap while you're working with them. And that's a great sign. When horses' heads are up, that's an alert posture for them. They're looking around. They're very aware of what's going on. If you think of horses as prey animals, they are always assessing their environment and figuring out what's a threat, what's friendly, what's going on. So they are always on alert for that. But when you start to see the head drop down and the ears flop and the lower lip drop and the hip drop, those are all signs that that horse feels really safe and really comfortable in that environment, and that's what we're looking for. Just to do some quick introductions for horses. This is Jake. Jake here is one of the horses we're going to be using for our program today, and one of the horses we'll be working with. He is an Appaloosa, and he will be led by Kim Nieves, who is right over there. So Jake is one of those horses we'll be working. He is working quite hard on finishing off his hay pile before he goes to work this morning. You're welcome to check him out. These guys are all amazing. They're used to lots of little bitty kids running around and underneath and doing all sorts of crazy things with them, but it's just a nice sign of respect for them to be aware of where they can't see and where they're a little bit more cautious, and make sure we're always doing whatever we can to make them feel safe and comfortable. This guy here who says, come on over here and say hi to me, this is Cadence. Cadence is another one of the horses we're going to be working with today. Cadence is our oldest horse here. He is 28 years old now. 28. Horses live anywhere from 20 to 40 years old. But 28 is pretty spectacular. That's just a little, it's a benign growth. He's on the older side. He's got, lumps and bumps and stuff. But he is a Polish Arabian. Arabians are known for their stamina. And he actually is well known for being an endurance horse in his previous career. He used to live out in California. There is a race called the Tevis Cup, which is a 100-mile long endurance race, and Cadence has done that 3 separate times in his career. And on one of those races, he actually saved a runner who fell down a ravine. He got to that point of the trail, refused to go. His rider couldn't figure out why, and then finally realized there was a runner who had sprained their ankle down at the bottom of the ravine. So Cadence went down, they put the runner on his back, brought him back up the ravine, and brought him to the next checkpoint. So they do have amazing intuition for people. So Cadence is going to be led by Sammy today. So again, we were talking about personal space, right? So if a horse is right in there in your personal space, you want to establish that this is my space and that's your space. And just gently put your hands up. And Kim, if you could go ahead and take Jake out. We're going to go across towards the other barn. And Jake and Cadence, you guys can head right down to the indoor. This big girl right here is Larka. Larka is one of the horses we're going to be working with today. She is our largest horse on the property. She's a big girl. And she is mostly works with our adult riders. And she used to have a pretty athletic career before she came here. She did a lot of high-level showing. So she's one of our horses we're going to be working with, and Kazi is going to be leading Larka. Our next horse is Wanda, who's right here. Wanda is our second oldest horse. She is 27 years old now. Got it. 27. But Wanda is really spectacular. She's been in this program, it feels like forever. And she works specifically with our really young little kids doing hippotherapy, which is one-on-one with an occupational or physical therapist. And they start as young as 2 years old. And it's amazing to see Wanda really adjust and work to stay underneath those little bitty kids on her back. She takes really good care of them. But then you put a more advanced rider on her, and she is an absolute spitfire. So she really knows what her job is, what she's supposed to do, and she's just a lot of fun. And Holly here is going to be leading Wanda. And then our last horse we're going to be working with today is right over here. This is Kaysen. Kaysen is actually on trial with us right now. So one thing about all of our horses is they come to us for at least a 2-month trial period, and they work with staff members before we accept them into the program. So during those 2 months, we're assessing their temperament, their training, whether they enjoy working with people, if they can deal with tons of different people interacting with them on a daily basis. For some horses, that's just way too much interaction. Kaysen, I have really high hopes for. He really enjoys working with people. He has a really strong work ethic, and he's a little bit of a perfectionist is what we've found. He really wants to do his job really well. And we are going to have Brianna, here you go, leading Kaysen today. All right, here we go. It's in the arena. I'm looking, during that time, it's like a meet and greet with the horses, and I'm looking for those neat little connections that are starting to form between the veterans and the horses that we have available. So we are looking for how the horses are reacting to the veterans as well. Sometimes we'll see the horses get a little bit anxious with certain people, or we'll see that they kind of need to start moving with certain people, or we'll see their ears back. And that gives me a clue as the instructor that there's something going on with that person, that maybe they're anxious or they're feeling a little insecure about what they're doing, or maybe there's even anger or frustration going on. And I'm just kind of scanning the group all the time, looking for those things so I can step in and help where I'm needed, or point out those really neat moments of connection between the veterans and their horses. First, it's always nice to say hi to your horse first, rather than just going right up to them. This is the head getting lower, the ears out to the side, the licking and chewing. These are all signs of the horses relaxing and being a little bit more comfortable with what's going on. So that's the kind of stuff you're going to be looking for. And we're going to spend 5 minutes with each horse. So I'll give you like a 2-minute warning, and then you're just going to move down to the next horse in line.
Especially if you go like with your hand down with a big movement. It's very relaxing for him.
Okay, do you brush them every month?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That continues to grow their entire life. All these muscles, they'll hold you. Yeah, keep them eating.
No eating any cords. Isn't that amazing? And that's what those are.
I found a picture on the internet one day. I found it in his teeth. There's just something going on in there.
I had horses like that.
There you go. Awesome. All right, so we have our teams. Our next thing that we're going to do is work on some leading exercises. So after that meet and greet, when we start to see those connections or those concerns, we sort of debrief them as a group. And then we work on leading skills in the arena. We work on how to communicate with our horses with our body language. And we learn all the basic skills that they're going to need to be able to go out and do the obstacle course successfully outside.
What's that?
You want to get some exercise.
Yeah, you want to take him straight so you can see them. Remember that blind spot under his nose. You want to take him straight through.
Okay, this way, okay, fine.
Really?
Right here, right here. Yeah. There you go.
You want to look up. Keep your eyes up. Don't look at the poles. Good job. Don't look at him. Eyes up. Like I said, like it's a casual walk. They don't do that. They just take off. If you get left behind, you get left behind. And you don't get any food, and you don't get any
With me, we should practice out to stay way away from her butt. So behind him. And now make a big circle all the way around this one. And go to the right.
Right and left.
Go to the right.
Right.
Yep.
Come on.
straight so you can see them. Like blind spots. Straight through.
Kaysen, and then Jake, and then Larka, and then Cadence. So Wanda, Kaysen, Jake, Larka, Cadence. You guys can make your way out. When we're out on the obstacle course, we're not looking for them to complete every single obstacle. We're not looking for them to be perfect going over every obstacle. We're really looking more to see if they can tune in with their horse and realize when their horse is feeling confident and ready to take the next step, in order to know when their horse is feeling a little unsure and when to kind of back off and reassure their horse. So it's really more about that teamwork aspect, that herd aspect, rather than completing the course, checking off the goals. We tend to be very goal-oriented. Our veterans tend to be very mission-oriented. So it's about taking a step back from that and really bringing it back to that interpersonal. So I'm going to recommend that you guys start that you start with the flat bridge, the tires, the pedestal. Remember, this is all about going slow, allowing your horse to explore it, and backing off and kind of stepping away from it if they start to seem like they're getting confused or anxious about it. And that's what your horse handlers are there for. All right?
So why don't we let
Wanda, since you guys are right there, why don't we let you get started on the flat bridge?
A little push on the other side and pull it back over this way.
step up?
Hello.
Whoa.
Good job. Okay.
Boy.
Now you're going to take hold of this again. You're going to walk them right off.
Come on. Good boy.
A little tall for her, so we'll keep her just to the tires. Oh, look at that. Tell her she's awesome. Big pats. Give her all sorts of love. Tell her she's fantastic.
She knows she's modeling right now.
Yes. This is only this horse's second time ever on this course. So the fact that she just walked right up onto that tire tells me that you guys both together just said, we're going to do this. And she said, okay. We're going to go do it. We're going to walk on again. He may step off. Just be ready for that. Come on, puppy. Good boy. And let him come off. Awesome, guys. Tell him he's the best. Make a huge deal out of that. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Let her go. Woohoo! And now we're going to walk forward and kind of let him figure it out. Tell him he's a good boy. Give him some pats. And you guys, Sam and Gerardo, you're going to help guide his body as we help guide his head. Excellent. Nice job, guys.
It's hard to believe you can move 1,000 pounds around with a little rope, but must have happened. And then I guess we woke up when we got down to the obstacle course. We sort of started to move it along, and after a while we saw the trees, and we wish we could have taken them through the trees on a hillside a little bit. But these are old horses like old soldiers, you know, and soldiers like on an endless march. So that's enough for today. And after about 3 hours, my body was telling me, and I'll know tomorrow morning. But I was raised around horses. I didn't get up on them too much, but maybe it's 73's time to do it, you know, so we'll see what happens from here on in. But the main thing is that somebody gets rid of their PTSD or says, I want to go back. I don't know, and I know they're always looking for a wrangler, someone to clean out the barn, that stuff, so maybe that'll happen too. But I had 1 year of college and then 3 years in the Army, and that was my college education. And now I'm around horses, you know.
My name is Robin.
Nice to meet you, Robin.
You
So
too.
tell us a little bit about your experience today with the interaction with the horses.
Oh my God, it was so wonderful. I had so much fun just scratching the horses, and then they, you know when you get a good spot, because one of them was like nibbling on my arm because they nuzzle each other when you hit a good spot.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it was great.
Interact with the horses. Do you remember their name?
Jake.
Jake.
Jake, yeah, he's a good one. He kept eating the grass, he'd pull his head up. They're strong.
Did you have a chance to go through the obstacle course?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he was a great horse. He did everything perfect.
neat.
Yeah, he was good. It's hard to keep him straight at first, but the instructors or horse handlers, they were awesome.
Awesome.
Really helpful.
Now, so our gala theme this year is the power of the horse.
Mhm.
After today, what does that feel like for you? What does that mean to you? That power of the horse.
They're very like majestic, you know, but when you pet them, it just feels so relaxing. You just feel, you know, no stress. It's really nice. They just have a power to lift up your mood, I think.
Awesome.
Really good.
Do you think that this is something you would do again?
Oh yes, definitely. I had a great day. It was awesome.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you, Horse Farm.
Okay. My name is Joanna Martirelli, and I work at the New England Center and Home for Veterans. My role at the center is I am the trauma specialist. Part of my job is to work specifically with veterans who have any type of PTSD, whether it is combat PTSD, whether it's adult, childhood, and also I work with veterans who have traumatic brain injuries. my experience today in bringing a group over here to Windrush Farm is, I noticed a lot of our veterans in the car were a little antsy, a little jittery. The expectations, there's a lot of unknowing, and already you can tell just coming out of the city and coming out into where there's trees and green and just having the farm here, and you could just see everybody start to relax and kind of smile and joke and feel more comfortable with the horses. When they were kind of interacting with them, you can just see people, our veterans were just brighter, more interactive, not just with the animals, but with each other. They were working as teams, the ones that were in pairs. Some of our veterans have a long history of, a lot of really not so cool stuff that happened in their life. And, you could just see how relaxed and how energetic and how much fun they're having. And that is just an amazing, amazing thing to see. And just being able to witness that is definitely, I think the best word that I could describe it is an honor.
Right. So the directors that usually bring our veterans here are usually typically looking for, primarily one of the main things I hear is looking for their veterans to have fun again and lighten up. One of the main things I heard today was that they saw veterans smiling during this program that they have never seen smile back at their own centers.
Hi, I'm Mimi Yazger. I'm the Senior Services Coordinator at the New England Center and Home for Veterans. I am so thrilled to be here together with the veterans I work with at the center. And first of all, I just really want to thank and acknowledge the wonderful people who made today possible. First of all, Dick Kelly here, who really just brought everyone together today and put all of this amazing effort into bringing us here. And also Dick George, who worked really hard in connecting with me and following up with me and just really making this a beautiful morning. So thank you so much, Dick, for bringing us here today and for all of your energy and efforts in investing in our veterans.
Well, you're very welcome, and we're very pleased to have put it together and partner with the Windrush Farm, and we're fortunate to have a good day, and the veterans seem to be really enjoying it, getting a lot out of it, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely, and I just also want to, it's amazing just to see how certain veterans who, they're just coming alive, they're glowing in a way that they, that I've never seen in the same way before, and it's just absolutely miraculous seeing how equine therapy really touches hearts and just brings this amazing side of beauty and wonder out into the open and into nature, and it's just really phenomenal. And Windrush Farm is so incredible at just bringing out these facets of our veterans, and we thank them so much for their service and their commitment, and it's really wonderful to give them the opportunity to experience this therapeutic and enjoyable, wonderful day out here. So thank you for making it possible. Thank you, Windrush Farm, and we're just really excited, so thank you.
We just don't, we underestimate the value of animals, don't we?
Absolutely.
And a big animal like a horse. Well, you do a tremendous job. We've been watching you,
Thank you.
Interact with the horses and with the people, and congratulations on the program. And
thank you very much.
Jenna Turcott at Windrush Farms.
Great. Thank you.
You're being so silly.